wanting to do this video for some time now. Today's the day. How would you like to come along with me to see one of the wealthiest cities and most beautiful cities in the US, Ventura, California? People come from all over to see this beautiful spot on the California coast. And although it is gorgeous, there is good food to eat and so many things I'm going to talk about today. The main reason I go is for the thrifting. Welcome to the Peaceful Home. I have thrifted all throughout California, the state that I live in. And there are definitely some spots that are near and dear to my heart, and Ventura is one of them. It has developed a reputation for being a really amazing thrifting town, especially Main Street, the downtown area. There is so much to offer. Today we'll get into all the reasons that you might want to visit Ventura, come shopping with me, see my thrift haul, and then I'm going to give some recommendations for restaurants and shops at the end. If you've never been to Ventura, you're going to get a tiny little glimpse today. It is a gorgeous spot on the west coast, right in between Malibu to the south and Santa Barbara to the north. It has amazing weather. I believe 61 degrees is the average temperature year-round, with the high reaching about 66 in the winter and a high of 73 in the summer. Now, I live somewhere where it's in the hundreds all summer long, so heading to the coast is a great way to escape the heat. Ventura is also one of the oldest cities in California. It was started in 1782 when Junipero Serra developed a mission here, San Buenaventura. In fact, the mission is one of the draws for people that enjoy history. You can come and see the mission. It is a functioning church in Ventura, but you can go and tour the facility as well. There are so many things to do in Ventura. Not only do you have the gorgeous beaches, the harbor, the pier is amazing. It's a historical landmark. It used to be the longest pier in California. It is no longer after some storm damage, but it is still the oldest pier. It's absolutely gorgeous, and there's this really cool cutout at the end if you walk all the way out that you can look down and see the water below. From the pier, you have a beautiful view of the coastline, of the city of Ventura, and behind you of the Channel Islands. Now, in addition to Surfers Point, the incredible parks, museums, shops, food, you've got to go thrifting in Ventura. I went this last fall, and with the holidays and everything, I haven't had a chance to post this video. It was a beautiful sunny day, and I had not been to Ventura to shop since before the pandemic. So I was in for a little surprise. What used to be a bustling little street that was a little tricky to find parking for is now all blocked off. Ever since COVID, trying to bring in some traffic, bringing restaurants out to the street, they made the decision to block off the downtown. So you do still have to find parking. There is quite a bit of parking available. You just need to look for signs. And then you're free to walk down the middle of the street, no traffic at all. Now, I went on a Tuesday, which was great because it was almost like a ghost town. There was just no one there. The weekends are definitely busier, but I still don't think it's that bad. It's worth going on a weekend. My first stop was the Carl Boutique and Thrift Store. They specialize in finding families to foster and adopt animals, and it is such an eclectic little place. I loved it. Great book selection. This book on Winslow Homer I would have snatched up, except it was $25. Selection of dishes was also fabulous. I loved this little hand-painted cream and sugar. Their tea items were particularly good. This beautiful pewter teapot. They had a lot of teacups, most of them made in England, which is usually what I'm looking for. There's only one thing I regretted not getting that day, and that is this little set. I have never seen anything like this. It was absolutely gorgeous. This blue transferware piece where the saucer and the little plate are attached, and it came with a beautiful teacup. And I really think that I would have used this for the many times that I have a little snack or a scone with a cup of tea in the afternoon. The little design around the edge of the teacup was just so beautiful. $5 for a classic teapot is a great price. And there was also this darling cream and sugar with cut glass. It was really beautiful. Quite sure that this is vintage, possibly antique. I was on the hunt for teacups, and this one with the fruit I thought was particularly lovely. It was only $2.50, and they had a great selection. Next, wandering down the street, I came to the Buffalo Exchange, and this is a great spot, especially for vintage clothing. Times Remembered is another spot for antiques and collectibles, and they have a selection like I have never seen. I couldn't even get through everything. They've got records, they've got jewelry, they have amazing dishes, tons of Disney collectibles, lunch boxes, as well as a great selection of books. Of course, from booth to booth, you never know what they're going to have. I spotted this Currier and Ives, but I already have it, so I left that behind. This place is just so nostalgic, and I feel like even if you're not a collector, for example, my husband, I think would love this store because there's something for everyone. And I feel like everybody can find a piece of their childhood in this shop. Continuing my hunt for teacups, I found several, but at these prices, $25 to $30, I didn't buy anything from this shop. The least expensive teacup I found was $12, still a little above what I would like to pay. The Goodwill on Main Street is a nice, clean store, big and open, and a great spot to shop for clothing, for books, and for home goods. I've been on the hunt for some lamps for my bedroom to go on each side of the bed on the nightstands. And I've been looking for a while and really haven't found anything, but there was quite a selection today. I spotted this transferware plate hiding under some stuff. It was really cute, but nothing that I needed. There was also a cream and sugar that was just a really sweet set. I went into all the secondhand shops, so that includes all of the antique stores, vintage shops, in addition to the thrift stores. And there's a lot of selection. I was very limited on my time that day, so I did a quick pass through of treasure hunters. Very cool store. The Santa Paula Animal Rescue Thrift Store has a lot of furniture. There were some really cool finds here, but I was in my little sedan and there was no way that I was taking home any furniture today. So again, I just did a quick pass through, but there's definitely some treasures to be had here. This was a beautiful open hutch, and this tea cart was darling. These teacups were priced much better, between like $5 and $9, averaging about $7 a teacup. That's fairly reasonable in an antique store. The Can Thrift Store is a nonprofit for the prevention and end of child abuse and neglect. So a really great cause. It's a bit of an eclectic store as well. There's a lot packed in there, but really great prices at this thrift store. They had some really cool vintage country living magazines and things that just reminded me of the 80s. Beautiful trunk. I looked through the clothes at this thrift store, which I don't always do, but there were no dressing rooms. So I only ended up getting 2 items of clothing. The Coalition Thrift Store is my favorite in Ventura. It's huge, an amazing selection of vintage books, and I did pick up a few. I can't wait to show you what I got, and a great selection of children's books as well. They have an amazing clothing section. The back part of the warehouse is crazy, just piles and piles of home goods, furniture, outdoor things, patio stuff, and there's just so much to look at. But I feel like I always find treasures here, and it's worth it to me to walk through every aisle. Over half of this giant room is devoted to linens. This is my favorite spot for linens. I think I have always found a little something or a big something in this shop every time I'm here. And the quilt selection is outstanding. Vintage coverlets and comforters, and just so many beautiful choices. Okay, let's jump right into the haul. Here's what came home with me. Several books. So I was able to pick up a few children's books from what you saw was that huge display of books. I didn't even go through them all. There were so many. I found a board book copy of The Napping House, which is one of our family's all-time favorites. Such a sweet book. This would make a great gift. Also, an H.A. Ray book that I have never seen before called Spotty. If you know H.A. Ray, he is the most famous for the Curious George books. His wife wrote this book and he illustrated it. Next, I got quite a stack of vintage books, all with beautiful linen covers. This one, a gorgeous shade of green, Forever Amber. I have a friend named Amber, and I just love the name of the book. It's a novel, and it has this beautiful map of London on the inside cover. Just a very sweet book and great to add to my collection. Next is Bret Harte's Poems, and this cover is so beautiful. The poetical works of Bret Harte, copyright in Boston, 1883. Next is another gorgeous cover, The Modern Book of English Verse. So pretty. And lastly, California missions and their romances. It makes sense that I would find a book on California missions where one of the most popular missions in California was built. I don't know if I told you about my teacup debacle. I've been collecting teacups my entire adult life. I inherited many beautiful English teacups from my grandmother, and I had a bin of them that I was sorting through in the garage. I set it on the top of my car, turned around, I was doing some other things. I really didn't think about it, and it went sliding, crashing to the ground, and it broke almost every teacup. If it didn't break the cup, it broke the saucer. And if it didn't break the saucer, it broke the cup. So I had almost no match sets and almost every set destroyed. I was a little heartbroken, but again, it's just stuff. And I knew that I could begin the hunt and start looking at thrift stores. Well, Ventura did not disappoint. I was able to pick up 3 different teacups. This one and, oh, this is the one from Germany. Beautiful fruit on it and gold edges. This was $3. Each of these were made in England and they were $2.50 each. I love this gray and pink. Very unusual shape and color. And finally, these cute little violets in purple. Again, a beautiful shape. And this is Royal Grafton fine bone china made in England. So I've been able to replace 3 teacups so far. I found 2 items of clothing. One is this vintage Woolrich sweater. It is, I think, 65% cotton with a little bit of wool and rayon. And I just thought this was so cute. I really do like turtlenecks in the winter. Keep me nice and cozy. So, and this gray is a beautiful neutral color. This other one is a little different for me. And it was just the ruffle and the design on the fabric that attracted me. It definitely has more of a tunic feel to it. It's quite long, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to leave it like a tunic or if I'm going to take it in and shorten it just to use as a blouse. So we'll see, but the ruffle got me. One of the thrift stores that had so much fabric, trim, lace, tablecloths, napkins. I only bought one thing there, and it was this tablecloth. Let me see, $3. And I thought this would be perfect for fall. Nice plaid, brown and white, very simple and classic. This could also be used as a throw. Now, I put this entire haul aside in my closet until I was going to make this video. So now it's time to start cleaning everything up. This is still a bit dusty, but I found this hand-painted tray that is so beautiful. My great aunt was a painter, and she was known back east. She was actually very famous for this type of folk art. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for these. And I thought this one was so pretty. It was $10, which I thought was a little high, but if it had been in an antique store, I would have snatched it up. It already has a hanger on it, which meant someone had it hanging on the wall, and I'm very happy to add this to the ones that I have from my aunt. I mentioned the thrift store that is my absolute favorite for linens. I think every time over the last 15 to 20 years that I have thrifted in Ventura, I have found linens in this shop. And this time was no exception. I found this queen size comforter. This is by Coastal Living. You can find these at Macy's or the company store. It's a good brand, and it's this really nice neutral stripe. And the only queen bed I have is on our landing. It's a guest bed. And I have needed a comforter, something that would be nice for the spring and the summer. So this is perfect. I already took the tag off. I honestly have no idea what I paid for this. Okay, we're getting down to the baskets. This basket I thought was so cool. It's got these great handles. It is slightly wonky, but I thought it would be really nice outside. When I find a basket that isn't in perfect condition, it just makes it a little easier to have it outside in the elements. I'm not so worried about it being ruined. This one is so cool. It's got leather straps holding the lid on and leather with buckles on the front. And this one was $5. So it was so inexpensive and really like a little chest. I just think it's darling. Now my other treasure was not $5, but I couldn't pass it up. And it was this gorgeous Longaberger. This is one of the picnic baskets in the Longaberger line. These are vintage. This one does need some cleaning up, but it also has leather straps and a leather and toggle closure. And it has the original plastic liner, which I don't know that I will use, but if I did need a liner, these are really great. It has the original Longaberger flyer that goes inside. Each basket is hand signed, and that we would find at the bottom. There it is. Longaberger Baskets, Dresden, Ohio. All of the weaving is doubled so that it's reinforced and incredibly sturdy. I should look up this picnic basket. I don't know what it went for originally, but probably over $100. And they were very expensive because they are such an amazing work of art. So this one was $16, I believe, $16.99. And that's pretty pricey for a basket. But again, one of this size and quality, I was willing to pay that. Okay, the last thing on my list, I have been looking for lamps for my bedroom for probably close to 2 years now. And every thrift store I go into, go right to the lamp section. I've seen some interesting ones over the years, but really nothing that has been quite right. Now, I saw this one that I really liked, but there was only one, and I wanted two. There was another time I was thrifting in Bakersfield, California. I found a beautiful black lamp, black metal shade with gold trim. It was so gorgeous, but again, there was only one. If there had been two, I would have snatched them up in a heartbeat. I ended up finding this set. Now the coloring is not what I want. I'm going to have to do a little flip on this and change it up. This is the closest I found so far to what I was looking for. And these lamps were $15 each. So I was able to get a set of two. They came with shades. So the shades are in great shape if I decide I'm going to keep these. And I'm going to have to decide how I want to change the finish. It kind of has this painted silver and a very almost mustardy gold color that I do not like. The silver looks kind of blue, but I really think that a little rub and buff will completely transform these lamps. Let me put all this away, and then we can chat about some of the restaurants and places I recommend in Ventura. If you decide to spend the day in Ventura, or maybe even an overnight, you will need to eat. There are some really great places and, of course, awesome seafood, especially down by the harbor. My top recommendation is Lure Fish House, and it's really good. You can look that up, and it's just a little bit off of Main Street. The rest of these are all on Main Street. Again, you can get really great food elsewhere. The whole city is full of fine dining, but if you're thrifting and shopping on Main, that's probably where you're going to want to eat. My top recommendations are Finney's Craft House, and they now have several locations throughout California. Really amazing menu. I guarantee you will find something for everyone at Finney's. Amazing burgers, salads, wraps, wings. They just have all kinds of things. Another one is Medici's Wood-Fired Pizza. Again, a really great menu and people love it. You can hit Snapper Jack's Taco Shack. They are famous for their fish tacos. So a really great place if you have never had a fish taco, which I do believe originated somewhere in California. I don't remember where, but fish tacos are delicious. Now, Palermo is a great spot for a little afternoon snack. It's a coffee shop. They also make gelato there, and they have a great bakery case. Perfect place for an afternoon pick-me-up when you've been thrifting for hours. There's also Rory's Artisan Creamery. If you really enjoy ice cream, they have some amazing flavors, and it's a popular spot on Main. Now, the next two aren't restaurants, but they're really fun places to go into and great spots to grab a gift. One is Olive Ventura, and this is a spot that has specialty, beautifully made cold pressed olive oils, as well as different types of balsamic vinegars and all kinds of treats. And lastly, Rocket Fizz. It is one of the most popular soda shops and candy stores around. They have vintage candy, you know, the stuff you grew up with that you really can't find anywhere. They will probably have it at Rocket Fizz. Amazing selection, and it's just a really fun place to go into. Have you ever been to Ventura? Have you ever thrifted there? I would love to hear about your adventures, and if you have any recommendations for me and other viewers, please put those in the comments below. It was so great to have you here on the Peaceful Home today. Thank you for joining me for this special adventure, one of my favorite spots in California to shop secondhand. I hope you'll be able to try out Ventura yourself sometime soon. Have a great day.